So living in the desert has its own little intricacies, So we get a lot of water, but we only get it a couple times a year. So we got to try to save it and reuse it the best way possible. So that's bringing it from the low areas to the high areas and saturating the landscape. So show you what I've been doing here is I've been kind of leveling off some areas and creating terraces, and then off of the edge of the terraces I create little canals, and they work their way back and forth across the landscape. And in the really hot days of summer, it's necessary for me to augment the irrigation with my well water. But right now I'm going to come back and fix that sinkhole that developed, because that's taking all the water and not allowing it to spread out. We want it to spread out before it soaks in. So, but you can see it's a pretty good flow of water that I've got coming, and it looks like it's coming from a pipe, right? But the pipe isn't hooked to a well. It is siphoning. And so, pardon the camera interruptions here. But so we've got this pipe laid out. In a manner that this water feature I installed way over here is feeding the high sections of the property. So here's the other end of the pipe, and it's just siphoning the water from this catch basin, this catch dam, from all the snow melt off, from the watershed up above. So anyway, this is the way that permaculture ideas and free energy, the siphon, work for us in using permaculture. We learn from nature, and we take our human consciousness and we shift nature just a little bit, and it becomes very productive. Just like the beaver just knows that the water is supposed to stay on the land, and so that's his job. He teaches us how to help that happen. Luckily we have heavy equipment, so, because I don't know, busy as a beaver is a very accurate title for those hydrological engineers and the efforts that they extend to create healthy landscape. So I've got another siphon right up here on the edge of the property line, and then that goes across this top section of the hill, and it drops down and it's filling up another pond that's more at the same level, the area 1 of my house. So this water feature has been in for about 6 years, and once all the snow melts off, this only lasts about 5 days, and then it all just sinks right into the earth. when we hold the water to the land, we're hydrating the landscape and we're reducing drought, because once the landscape's charged up, the springs will start flowing again. This has been proved in other models around the world. We reduce fire by improving and keeping a green landscape. We reduce erosion by slowing the water down. We reduce famine by planting food. All of this is possible when we consciously shape our landscapes. And if we keep as much water up in the mountains as we can, it's almost like having elevated water towers for a city. And the springs, they flow year-round instead of intermittently after a storm or a melt-off. The solutions to the problems that we are facing, they exist, and they're actually pretty easy. But we have to shift our energy towards things that are going to work rather than things that haven't been working. And the number of fires that we see in the summer, the drought we experience at the end of summer, and then the erosion that we experience in winter and spring are all counterproductive to a healthy landscape. I teach permaculture land shape design, showing ways that we can intentionally shape our landscapes where it holds on to water and provide abundance. So my teaching platform I call Hawks Haven, and that's where we're at right now. And actually, I call this one, this is Lady Raven Reservoir, and that's Raven Haven up there, because there's a nest up there. They've been holding that ground for at least about 20 years now. So I figure they've deserved that canyon to be called Raven Haven. Anyways, I'm Rob, and I'm like the director and the chief ditch digger and everything else up here. So if you want to come out and volunteer, if you want to learn, this is a great place to do it, and the price is right. Just come out and help. I just want to see this landscape get shifted, so that way when other people recognize the benefits that we have found with permaculture, then it's going to create a healthier environment for everybody.